Welcome, my name is Adam Presiviat. If we haven't met before, I make videos on investing, personal finance, and better living. You may have seen me before in a previous video about tinnitus where I explained my story on living with the condition. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'll leave a link down below. One of the hardest parts about having tinnitus is falling asleep at night. You can have a great day, you can forget about the sound by distracting yourself, but when the time comes to get some rest, all you hear is this ringing. And since you can't sleep, you're like, oh, maybe I should go on YouTube or Reddit and look up some tinnitus information. And then you get in the rabbit hole. And this is possibly how you found this video. It doesn't really do enough for you. You're not gonna find the perfect answer at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you're wondering, wow, is my life over? Am I gonna be able to enjoy my life again? I can't sleep at night. I can't perform at work. I'm not in a good mood because I haven't rested. It's just like, how am I gonna live with this? And I get it. I've been there. I've been wide awake in the middle of the night with anxiety. And it really is hard, I do understand. But one thing I want you to remember is that there are millions of people out there that live with this condition and they live with it well. They're getting their sleep at night and they're having great days when they wake up. There's even some celebrities out there that live with tinnitus. I'm gonna tell you about those people a little later in the video, so stick around. But with this video, I just wanna say it's gonna be about sleep. It's gonna be about getting a good sleep at night because I think it's one of the important parts about living with tinnitus. If you can't manage to get a good sleep, then you're gonna be in this constant loop and it's just gonna take you downwards. I've been at the low point before, and since being there, I haven't been that low again. So if that helps anybody out there that's really going through a hard time right now and you're watching this video late at night, just want you to know that it's gonna be okay. You just need to stay strong and keep a positive mentality. And yes, it's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna promise you that after you watch this video, you're gonna go to bed and have a great sleep. Control what you can control. Do the little things that add up to increasing your sleep quality. Right before I get started, I just want to say I really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below and like this video. It really helps me with growing my channel. But without further ado, let's jump into it. So I'm going to separate this video into two sections. The first one will be pre-bedtime, so that's throughout your day. And then we have the second section will be the bedtime portion. So what are you doing when you're going to bed at night? So let's start with section 1. In my experience, having a great sleep at night really starts with what you're doing throughout your day. You need to make sure you're living a healthy lifestyle with structure and purpose, and that will help you get to sleep easier at night. For me, I always try to incorporate the same things into my routine: exercising at least an hour per day, getting proper nutrition, working on some kind of personal hobby or creative activity, and then some relaxation and recovery, of course. We'll start with some information on exercise. So exercise has been proven to relax you and relieve stress. Although it's still debated whether stress directly causes tinnitus, most professionals agree that reducing stress can alleviate the annoyance of tinnitus. Exercise can really help divert all that attention that you're putting on that ringing. And the way it does that is because when you exercise, you're producing feel-good endorphins, and it makes you feel good, it relaxes you, and that's what you want. That's what you want. You want that anxiety to go away. One of my favorite ways to do that is just to sweat it out as hard as I can at the gym or my home gym and just get that heart racing and that sweat dripping. Even just moderate exercises can really increase your heart rate and increase the blood flow throughout your body. They say that certain types of tinnitus is actually linked to low blood circulation. So when you're exercising, it's really helping the blood get everywhere in your body. And yes, we know physical activity is not gonna make your ears better, but it will help you feel more tired at night and ready for bedtime. If you go super crazy on your workouts and push as hard as possible, your muscles need to sleep in order to recover. So maybe if you develop an exercise routine, by the time you go to bed at night, you're ready just to fall asleep and snore. The worst thing is you can fall asleep with tinnitus, but then you wake up at 3 a.m. by accident and you're like, oh my God, I hear it. If you had a great workout, you may just stay asleep all night. Next up, I'm gonna talk about nutrition because I think it's very important. So I try to make sure I'm eating very healthy foods, lots of vegetables. And yes, as you can tell, it's the holidays right now. And the other night, I ate dessert at almost 11 o'clock at night. A lot of sugar, a lot of ice cream, a lot of cake, and I could not fall asleep that night. I'm just too wired. I'm too sugar rushed. Try not to do that. Try not to eat sugar late night, maybe after 7 p.m., cut it off. Heavy carbs, heavy meals, don't eat too late at night because your body's kind of racing and your blood sugar is high and maybe that's gonna keep you awake at night. That's how it works for me, so don't go too crazy with the food late night and it should help you fall asleep easier. So another thing that you could focus on that'll help you deal with your tinnitus is finding some kind of hobby or something creative that you can work on. For me, of course, it's YouTube and starting a YouTube channel, but maybe you make TikTok videos, maybe you start painting, maybe you start singing. Find something that you really enjoy doing and explore that. The more you're focusing on that thing, the less you're gonna be focusing on the tinnitus. Late night when I can't sleep, it's usually because I'm thinking about a YouTube video or an idea or something like that. I'm not really losing sleep because of the ringing in my ears. So yes, sometimes I do have late nights where I don't get much sleep because I'm working on YouTube, but I'm glad it's because it's my decision. It's not because of the ears ringing. I know sometimes it may be hard to find a hobby. Some people don't know exactly what they like. So for me, I'd say try different things out and maybe you're gonna find that thing. I've tried making a blog before. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make a blog. I'm gonna write articles every week. And I started it, but it turned out after a week or two, I realized I did not enjoy making blogs, so I stopped. But for videos, I started exploring that less than a year ago and I really enjoyed it. So I urge you to explore something that you've been wanting to try. But the last thing in the pre-bedtime category is your caffeine intake. Right here, look at me, I'm already having caffeine. So like many of us, we rely on coffee or other energy drinks and stuff to get through our day, to go to work or study at school. And yes, caffeine is important. They do say that caffeine can make your tinnitus worse, but I still really enjoy coffee, so I'm not gonna cut it off. The key here is moderation. So don't have too much coffee throughout your day and try to cut off your coffee intake at a certain time. So I try not to have a coffee past 3 p.m. For some people, it may be a little different. Caffeine can really increase your anxiety as well. So if you're feeling anxious, you may think about the ringing a little more and it may make it sound even louder up there. So yeah, be careful with caffeine. But we have arrived. We're talking about bedtime. It's the important part. You can do all these good things during the day, but if you don't do your bedtime routine right, it may bring you issues in falling asleep quickly. There's no particular order in all these tips. I'm just gonna kind of go through my list here. The first thing is less time on screens. Right now, if you're watching this video, don't turn it off till after you finish watching. When you're on the screens, your eyes don't really know if it's looking at a screen or the sun, and sometimes your body doesn't want to fall asleep because you're looking at the screen. If you're gonna be on a screen, maybe editing a video or watching a video, a good option that I've been working with is these blue light glasses. So I'll get in this like wormhole of like editing a video. I'll start at 4 p.m. and I'll look at the clock, it's like 11. I'm like, where'd the time go? But I make sure I'm wearing these. They actually help reduce the light on my eyes. So it actually helps me fall asleep quicker after wearing them. If you wanna have less issues falling asleep, get those screens away. Next up, meditation and deep breathing. So my watch, it tells me I should breathe for a minute at a time. And just that 1 minute of breathing, like something like that. I'm not gonna do that for a minute, else that'd be very boring. But yeah, just deep breathing actually really helps relax you. And part of the reason I can't fall asleep at night when I have tinnitus is the anxiety. I've mentioned it already in this video. Anxiety is a huge part of tinnitus. So deep breathing or some type of meditation is gonna help you a lot. It'll help you relax. So you can find a meditation app or you can just simply breathe. It'll really, really help you. Next up is tea. And yes, there's still coffee in here, there's no tea. But I personally like to drink like a peppermint tea at night or some kind of herbal tea. No caffeine, don't do it. I like to eat a lot, but I don't like to eat too late, like I said. And a tea actually makes me feel really full at night. So I go to bed not too hungry and my stomach's all satisfied. So yeah, make yourself a nice cup of tea and sip it, get that aroma. It'll help you relax. So my next one is the cure to your phone use. Don't watch too much TV, don't watch too much YouTube. Still watch this video, but pick up a book. So for me, I like to read my books at night. So I lay in bed, open my book, read, and within 10 minutes, I'm already dozing off. And the best part about a book is all you need to do is close it, turn off the light, and then you're in bed. The problem for me when I'm falling asleep watching a TV show or on my phone, the process of turning off the phone for some reason wakes me up again. Next up is a cool room. So they say you need to sleep in a room that's a kind of a lower temperature. So I just Googled why you should sleep in a cold room. It says here, you'll fall asleep quickly. So as nighttime approaches, our body temperature naturally drops, signaling that it is time to slow down and get some rest. By keeping your bedroom cooler, you're reinforcing your body's natural instinct to sleep. If the room is too hot, it could potentially block that signal and cause it to take longer for you to fall asleep. And we've all been there before. We've woken up in the middle of the night sweating. So they say here that as you get closer to waking up, your body kind of slowly gets warmer. So if you're already too hot, it's gonna mess with all that, right? You can look up more reasons on Google on why sleeping in a cool room helps. So the next one here is super important. You need to go to bed at the same time each night. And yes, I know it's hard. You've been going to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning because you can't sleep because of the tinnitus. How do you expect to suddenly go to bed at 10 p.m. each night? Well, you need to actually train yourself to get to that point. So it may take 1 or 2 weeks of practice, and then you're going to be falling asleep at an earlier time just automatically. Try to go to bed a little earlier on the next couple nights. So instead of falling asleep at 3, make it your goal to fall asleep at 1. And eventually your body may have issues staying awake past midnight, and it's going to really help you. So yeah, having a set schedule is really good, especially right now. There's not really much to do. You're not really going out of the house too often. So try to just keep going to bed at the same time. Being asleep is different from going to bed, in my opinion. So that brings me to my next couple points here. Once I'm in bed, I need to do something to drown out that noise, the one that we all hate. One strategy that I like is podcasts. So if you're not trying to read a book, maybe listen to a podcast, something like Joe Rogan. He does 3-hour podcasts. 3 hours is perfect amount of time for me to fall asleep. And if you don't want to listen to a podcast, if you really want to relax your brain, you need to find some kind of white noise generator. So what is that? It's sound to drown out your tinnitus. So I have the Alexa beside my bed, and she or he or it, whatever we call it, they play me different sounds. Sometimes I listen to a fan noise, sometimes I listen to rain, sometimes it's a windy, stormy night. Whatever I'm feeling that night, I tell my Alexa to play. This has been one of my favorite remedies for tinnitus. It's one of the most common ones. You just need to drown out the sound that you're hearing with something else. So windy, stormy nights is perfect. It'll really get you asleep. And the last thing that I'll suggest is having a dark room. This is something that I personally don't use, but for some people it may be useful. So you can get some blackout curtains to go over your window to drown out that street light that's right outside of your house. Or maybe you don't have any blackout curtains and you just buy one of those eye mask things. Again, I don't have one of those, but I heard that they do work pretty well. The darker the room, the more likely you're gonna be to stay asleep. But yeah, incorporate some of these things into your life and the sleeping will get easier. And what do they say? 21 days it takes to build a habit. So don't expect you to get a better sleep tonight or the next week. It could take 21 days. It could take even longer. But you'll notice that slowly you're gonna have better and better sleeps. Once you've conquered it, you're gonna feel way better and you're gonna be able to focus on other things in your life. Then maybe one day you're gonna be inspiring someone else that has tinnitus. It could be a friend of yours, it could be a family member, it could be people in the comments down below, just to tell them like, hey, you're gonna be fine with tinnitus. For me, myself, I was feeling very low about my tinnitus, and when I started talking to people and I understood that other people have conquered this, so once you have a better sleep at night, you may not need to grab more caffeine to wake yourself up during the day because you are well rested. And I just want to say, the longer that you live with tinnitus, the more you learn about what impacts your tinnitus more and what helps you feel more comfortable. So for me, I hate loud noises like the dog barking. I'm here at my parents' house for the holidays and the dog barks so loud and it really bothers me, and it's super annoying because you cannot predict it sometimes. But yeah, you need to figure out what you need to avoid in order to not make your tinnitus worse. So if you're going to a loud concert, wear those earplugs. But yeah, once you've figured out your tinnitus and figured out what works for you, it'll allow you to live a happier life. Okay, as promised, I wanted to mention a couple celebrities that live with tinnitus. It might help you realize that all these popular people that make lots of money and they're super famous, they actually deal with this condition as well. So I looked on Wikipedia here and this list is massive. Let's look here. We got Chris Martin of Coldplay, Gerard Butler, we got Phil Collins, Eric Clapton. Yeah, I guess a lot of these people are rock stars and they're musicians. Boy George, Noel Gallagher, Mark Ronson. Mark Ronson's a huge producer, that's crazy. And there's many more, I'm not gonna go too deep into it. I'll read one thing about Chris Martin here. Just like other musicians, Chris developed tinnitus as a result of playing loud music. Chris said about tinnitus in an interview for the Daily Mail, quote, "Looking after your ears is, unfortunately, something you don't think about until there's a problem. Wish I'd thought about it earlier." If there's other people out there watching this video right now and you don't have tinnitus, use this as a reminder that you do not want to get tinnitus, so make sure you're protecting your ears. A guy like Chris Martin, he's probably up late at night having a problem falling asleep. Chris, you're watching this video, what's up? But yeah, he's just like all of us. He's dealing with this ringing and it doesn't go away. It doesn't matter if you're famous or you have money. You have to deal with this. There's no cure yet. Yeah, just wanted to use that list as just a reminder that you're not alone out there. There's other people dealing with this. I really want to say that I appreciate all the people that left their thoughts and their experiences of living with tinnitus in the comments on the last video. I think there are a lot of people out there that are finding value in reading those comments, and that video is still being seen today, so I'm really happy with the results. In my experience, the people in my life that don't have tinnitus don't really understand it, so they tend to downplay it automatically. It's not their fault, they just don't understand, they don't live with it, and it's not something that you can show people. You just have to describe it, and it doesn't sound that bad, does it? But with the power of the internet, we can really all connect and share our experiences together and become stronger because of that. So I'm really glad to see that my last video has really acted as a space for people to share their thoughts and emotions. And I want to make more as time goes by. I'm not going to be making them every week, but I'll be checking back in every couple months or so with a new video. But to finish this video off, I really want to hear from you. Let me know down below if any of these strategies are already working for you, or if there's any strategies that I haven't mentioned, because you may mention something that people will read and it may help them. Because when I was looking at tinnitus videos when it was really bothering me, I spent more of my time in the comment section below trying to see what people are saying. So even if you leave a super small comment down below, just remember that it could go a really long way for someone out there who's having a really tough time with this. And remember, there's a ton of us out there. There's a community out there. It's not really the community that we imagine being part of, but we're kind of in this together. So that's all for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got some value out of it. If you did, I urge you to hit that like button down below. It takes me some time to make these videos, so I really appreciate if you hit that button for me. If you want to see more videos from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well down there. So make sure you're staying safe and well out there. I'll talk to you soon.